Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington, Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news. The NFL landscape is buzzing right now with some highly intriguing rumors, and none are more captivating than the potential trade involving Tariq Woolen, the young and explosive cornerback from the Seattle Seahawks. But surprisingly, this isn't about the Seahawks. Instead, it's about the Tennessee Titans and the Washington Commanders, two teams with very different needs and perspectives, but both eyeing Woolen for different reasons. And folks, this could really shake up the NFC East and the entire playoff picture. Let's start with the Titans. At 1-7, it's clear that Tennessee is in rebuild mode, and their defense has been struggling all season long. They're giving up an average of 4 sacks per game, which is a huge red flag for any NFL team, especially one with aspirations of turning things around. Their offensive line has been decimated by injuries and poor performance, and the front office knows that adding a dynamic player like Woolen could be a game changer. But what's really interesting is that the Titans are reportedly mulling over trading Woolen for a third-round pick in the 2026 draft, and they're willing to use around $12 million of cap space to infuse some life into their quarterback situation as well. This move makes sense when you consider that Tennessee is desperately seeking draft capital and young talent to rebuild their defense and secondary, and Woolen fits that bill perfectly. Now the big question is, why would the Titans trade Woolen? Well, according to Adam Schefter, there's a lot of skepticism in Tennessee about their chances of making a serious Super Bowl run anytime soon. Their odds are currently around plus 18-0, which makes them long shots at best. The front office is more focused on accumulating picks and building through the draft rather than going all in with veteran players or expensive contracts. They're also feeling the pressure of recent injuries, especially on their defensive line, where 2 starters are on IR. So parting ways with Woolen could be seen as a way to free up cap space, about $8 million, to extend other key players or to fortify their roster in other areas. It's a tough pill to swallow for Titans fans, but from a strategic standpoint, it makes sense. They're looking at the big picture. On the flip side, the Commanders are sitting at 3-5, and while their record isn't spectacular, they've got some glaring issues in their secondary. Giving up an average of 28 points per game, their pass defense has been a liability, especially against top-tier receivers in the NFC East. Washington needs someone who can lock down the outside, and Woolen's name keeps popping up as a perfect fit. At just 26 years old, Woolen is a speed demon, and his ability to shadow top receivers and forcing completions is exactly what the Commanders need to turn their secondary into a strength rather than a weakness. His measurables are insane, running a 4.26 40-yard dash, standing at 64. Woolen is a nightmare matchup for any receiver. His ball skills are off the charts, with 12 career interceptions and 45 pass deflections so far, and his PFF coverage grade consistently hovers around the high 70s to low 80s. The Commanders' secondary has been vulnerable all season, and adding Woolen could be a major upgrade. With the NFL becoming more pass-heavy, teams that can lock down outside receivers gain a serious advantage, and Woolen's speed and length give him the tools to shut down even the fastest deep threats. Think about his impact in the upcoming NFC East matchups, especially against teams like the Eagles, where A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith are tearing defenses apart. Woolen's ability to shadow those guys and disrupt their routes could be the difference between a win and a loss. Plus, his height of 64 makes him a matchup nightmare, especially against taller receivers who want to win contested catches. The Commanders are looking to build a secondary that can compete with the best, and Woolen's addition could be that missing piece. But what about the timing? Rumors suggest that the trade window is closing fast, with the NFL trade deadline set for November 4th. This means teams are making their final moves, and Woolen could be on the move if the right deal presents itself. The Patriots, Ravens, and even some NFC teams have shown interest in boosting their secondary. But for the Commanders, this could be a golden opportunity. Washington has been aggressive this season, trying to turn things around after the last few years of inconsistent defense and offensive struggles. Adding a player like Woolen would send a clear message that they're serious about contending again, especially as they look to stay competitive in the NFC playoff race. Now, let's talk about Woolen himself. Hailing from UTSA, Woolen is just 26 but has already made a name for himself as one of the league's most promising young cornerbacks. His career stats are impressive: 12 interceptions, 45 pass deflections, and a solid average PFF grade of 79. 4. His speed is elite, running a blazing 4.26 40-yard dash, which allows him to keep up with the fastest receivers in the league. In 2025, he's already tallied 3 interceptions and 8 pass deflections, maintaining a coverage grade of 82. 1 and allowing just 42% of targets to be completed against him. His ability to force incompletions and create turnovers makes him a disruptive force on the field. Remember, in 2024, Woolen notched 5 interceptions and earned a PFF grade of 77.8, showing consistency and growth. Injuries are always part of the game, and Woolen has faced his share, suffering a sprained ankle in Week 1 of 2025, which kept him out for a bit, but he bounced back quickly. Just recently, in Week 5, he made a highlight reel interception for a touchdown against the Colts, proving he's back to full strength and ready to make waves. His height of 6'4" makes him a matchup nightmare, especially against taller receivers seeking jump balls or contested catches. This physicality and speed combination remind many of the Seahawks' early days with him, where his presence elevated the entire secondary, boosting their win probability significantly. Now, why would the Titans part ways with Woolen? Well, their cap situation is tight, with around $9 million in space, and they're in a rebuild mode that requires savvy cap management. Trading Woolen could free up around $8 million in space, which they could then use to extend key players or sign other impact-free agents. More importantly, they need draft picks, especially for their depleted defensive line, which has seen 2 starters go down with injuries and are currently on IR. The Titans are skeptical about Woolen's fit long-term after recent trades and roster moves, and some in Tennessee see him more as a luxury than a necessity right now, especially when they're focused on rebuilding from the ground up. Meanwhile, for the Commanders, adding Woolen isn't just about plugging a hole. It's about transforming their entire secondary into a force to be reckoned with. His presence would elevate the coverage schemes, allowing their safeties and linebackers to play more aggressively and reducing the yards passing allowed per game, which currently stands at an unacceptably high 7.2 yards per pass. With Woolen on the field, that number could drop to around 6.5 yards, and turnovers would likely increase, something the Commanders desperately need to turn their season around. His stats indicate that he could easily record around 5 interceptions this season, and his ability to force incompletions would push the defense into more advantageous situations. From a strategic standpoint, Woolen's addition would also serve as a key piece in their playoff push. The NFC East is highly competitive this year, with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all vying for supremacy. Having a lockdown corner like Woolen could be the difference maker in tight games, especially in high-stakes moments. His ability to shadow the top receivers and disrupt routes aligns perfectly with the kind of aggressive, opportunistic defense Washington is trying to build. And speaking of the playoffs, Woolen's impact extends beyond just the regular season. His presence in the postseason could tip the scales in Washington's favor. The odds for the Super Bowl are still long, initially around plus 10-0, but with Woolen's potential impact, some betting markets suggest they could improve to plus 8-0. He's seen as an X-factor, especially against deep threats like A.J. Brown in the NFC East or any team looking to stretch the field. Woolen's speed and ball skills mean he can turn the tide with a single play, an interception, a forced incompletion, or even a game-changing touchdown. His ability to elevate the secondary could be the spark Washington needs to finally make a deep playoff run. So looking at the bigger picture, this trade scenario is not just about a player swapping teams. It symbolizes a strategic shift. The Titans are rebuilding, cautious about their Super Bowl chances, and looking to stockpile draft capital. The Commanders, meanwhile, are hungry, eager to build a secondary that can compete with the league's best and push for a playoff appearance and beyond. Woolen, with his elite speed, size, and ball skills, embodies the kind of player who can change the dynamics of a defense overnight. In conclusion, if the rumors turn out to be true, we're looking at a blockbuster deal that could reshape the NFC East and give the Commanders a major boost in their secondary for the coming years. Woolen's talent and upside are undeniable, and his addition could be the missing piece in Washington's quest to reestablish themselves as a top-tier team. As the deadline approaches, all eyes will be on Woolen, and whether the Titans decide to hit the reset button or hold on to their promising young star. Whatever happens, this is a story that will resonate throughout the league, and more importantly, energize every Washington fan who dreams of seeing their secondary rise to elite status once again. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential move? Do you think Woolen can be the game changer the secondary desperately needs? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. This season is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory, and with moves like this, the future looks even brighter. Let's keep that passion alive, keep supporting our guys, and believe that bigger victories are on the horizon.